Arguments, lawsuits, debts, problems that continue to build in Atlantic Beach. It's a town that has been in chaos for years. Tonight, we investigate why the controversy can't be resolved and why a new mayor has yet to make an impact. Atlantic Beach may be a tiny town, but its dysfunction is not.
You do not have the floor, and don't cut me off again.
The flaring tempers and interruptions this time around stem from who's sitting on this council.
Ms. Isom, a private citizen, is being invited to vote on issues at the table.
As long as I sit here, I'm going to recognize Josephine as a legitimate council person. I'm going to recognize her vote. So if you're going to have a problem with that, that's going to be your problem.
This debate is just one of many that are ongoing, and it is hindering any progress. First, let's look at the town's debt. We did some digging and discovered its money problems are big. A CPA told the council last month he had trouble gathering the town's information since much of the staff had changed since 2007. Meanwhile, the town's current debt, according to town manager William Booker, is roughly $787,000. We tracked down the state treasurer for perspective. How is that money made up? Can the town say, well, we can't pay our bills, sorry?
The taxpayers in other parts of the state have to make up the difference, and that's not right. Atlantic Beach should pay its bills, and everybody else needs to pay their own bills. So it costs us all.
Do you have a responsibility as a council member to see why they don't add up?
Yes, we do have a responsibility as council members.
Some of that debt comes from lawsuits and settlements with coal, and that has caught the attention of Mayor Jake Evans. These are copies of the 10 counts of ethics charges against Cole, scheduled for a hearing before the State Ethics Commission. Evans filed them alleging that Cole used her office for gain when she signed 10 checks to herself for payment of a civil award of judgment against the town of Atlantic Beach.
We had 2 people on check signing authority, the town manager and 1 count person. Any of the checks that were put before me, whether they had my name on it or anybody else's name on it, we just simply signed and moved on.
Evans says the checks totaled almost $23,000 between July of 2011 and June of 2012, and says he had no idea the money was leaving the town's accounts as a councilman because the previous staff, he says, denied him access.
That's not true. Mr. Blanton certainly was not withholding any information.
Cole says she was within her rights to pursue the settlement money, which she says was in part for a breach of contract with the town, as well as an Atlantic Beach loan repayment and attorney fees. And in total, she says that settlement was in the $400,000 range, but says she kept none of it. For people who say that's hard to believe that she wouldn't keep even 1 penny of the $400,000, you would say, no.
It is... I owed the money. We owed the money. The town owed what it owed. I owed what I owed. And so there's no such thing as mine. There's no such thing as theirs. This was other people's money.
But possibly bigger than the debate over debt is the roadblock the council has faced since Josephine Isom took office in July. Cole and Wendy Price don't recognize Isom. The Isom debate happened after a series of election protests. Evans says it was unclear whether Isom was allowed to take her seat while the Supreme Court debated the mayoral seat. Cole disagrees.
That's not true because the town attorney made sure that we all understood that if your seat wasn't protested, you take your seat. And we've been through enough of these election protests that we were clear on what we had to do while the Supreme Court deliberated.
Regardless, the council voted Isom out 3-1 for not taking her seat. Jake, the lone opposition, saying Isom couldn't be voted out since she'd not been sworn in at that point. The Municipal Election Commission urged the council to set an election date to fill Isom's seat. Disagreeing, the mayor says he fired the MEC. Evans says Isom eventually took her seat in July when he took his seat as mayor. Carolyn Cole and Wendy Price dispute Isom's position, usually at every meeting.
You cut me off. A roll call to about orders number 9 in 2013.
The other debate is the upcoming election. The town manager, mayor, and county say it's November 12th, but Cole says the town's elections have always been on the first Tuesday of November and says according to this letter, she and Price have already won since they were the only 2 who filed for the November 5th election set by the MEC they recognize. The one Evans says he fired. Meanwhile, Cole made headlines in September when she spoke to the Horry County Council about why the town should become either an unincorporated community in Horry County or consolidate with North Myrtle Beach.
We continuously demonstrate here in Atlantic Beach that we're not handling the fiscal matters the way we should.
Our state treasurer seems to agree.
There's a sad thing here. Some of these towns ought not to be towns. They need to be incorporated into larger towns or counties or just go away as an entity. They can't afford to be in business.
But Mayor Evans doesn't think consolidation is the answer, and despite all the likely upcoming legal disputes of council members and debt, the mayor ended a recent council meeting with optimism.
I've got the support of the people in Atlantic Beach. They started to come out to meetings. They support me, I support them, and we're one big happy family here.
Now, Mayor Jake Evans twice told us he would meet for an on-camera interview, but then canceled, saying some of those who elected him did not want him getting into an on-camera debate with Carolyn Cole. Cole, by the way, faces a hearing in January on those ethics charges. As for Tuesday's election, she says the courts will need to sort all that out. Regarding the debt, the town owes the state money, too. We've got a breakdown of the numbers, penalties from the state, and other court documents for you to look at. It's all